welcome to the Intuitively Wild podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Levine. Living intuitively wild is about coming back home to ourselves. Here, we talk about how to live connected to ourselves, others, and nature, and make a commitment to radical authenticity, vulnerability, and acceptance. On this podcast, we delve into a wide range of topics that span the human experience. We peel back the layers and talk about the things that are often not talked about. This is a space for us all to walk and wander this path of life together. Let's dig into our roots and go deep. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited to be here. This is a special episode because I'm doing something a little bit different, and I'm sharing a YouTube video that I made at this time last year for Samhain/Halloween of last year. And in it, I am diving into my exploration around the word witch and what that meant to me at the time, and just my curiosity and journey of understanding that word and that label, that identity, and claiming it and getting really curious with what it meant to me, what magic meant to me, what my spirituality was, and really understanding myself in a whole new way. Learning about the word witch and the history of that took me down a deep rabbit hole that has been really interesting to me. The biggest caveat I want to give here before we jump into the rest of the episode is that my relationship with that word has evolved over the past year as I've gone into my priestess training. So I've been doing this priestess training with my mentor and teacher, Kate Murphy, and I'm about to finish the first level of that and start the second. And stepping into this embodiment and label of priestess and that relationship has transformed my understanding of the word witch and just what these different dynamics mean to me. So I just want to give that caveat as you go into the rest of the episode to know that I might have framed it a little bit differently if I were to record it now, or just to discuss my relationship with the word witch a little bit differently now, or the presence that word has in my life. It feels kind of minimal now, while priestess feels more present, mainly because a witch just feels like something I do every day. It doesn't even feel like something I really need to think about, versus priestess is something that I'm really practicing and stepping into. So yeah, I wanted to share that things have definitely evolved, and I actually go into that much more in last week's episode, which I highly recommend if you're looking for a deeper conversation around all of that, and also if you're looking for a ceremony and some rituals that you can create for yourself for this Samhain. This episode, though, I really wanted to share this conversation because it goes into our society's understanding of the word witch, our relationship with magic, with our own magic, with how we connect to the weird and witchy and maybe pushed away taboo parts of ourselves, and really getting to know ourselves on a deeper level and being willing to get curious with the mysterious parts of ourselves that want to be seen. So I'm excited to share this episode. I'm really curious what this brings up for you, how this might spark some deeper insight into your own relationship with yourself, if this brings you into a deeper conversation with yourself. If anything, I hope it just allows you to be more curious and open as you walk through the world, especially on Samhain, and just be really present and observant about what might be happening around you and how that's trying to speak with you. Oh, and I do reference a podcast conversation I did with a guest last October, and I will link that in the show notes below. I'll save any other thoughts for future podcast episodes or conversations. And with that being said, let's get into the rest of the episode. Hello. All right, we have set up our space. I have my 2 pumpkin candles going and our incense, of course. Happy Halloween. Happy Samhain. The day that this comes out, I believe, will be Halloween and right before Samhain. Obviously, I'm recording this in advance, but I am tapping into that energy and that spirit, and so excited to talk to you guys today about magic, really. The video before this, I believe, will be our ritual for Samhain and how to really connect with yourself and spirits and the holiday. So if you haven't watched that, I highly recommend. This is a little bonus episode where we're just going to have a convo together about magic and about the holiday and some things on my mind. My intention is to come to this space together to talk about magic, to maybe shift your perspective or give you permission to think differently or open your mind about something new, and also share my thoughts and to get more comfortable within myself of sharing my thoughts around this topic. I've written about this on Substack and I've talked about this on the podcast, so I highly recommend checking out those modalities as well because I think that this is a really important conversation. I started to get really interested in the topic of witchcraft and being a witch. And I didn't really know why. At first, I thought I just am really interested in that topic and the history and the traditions, and that is a huge part of it. But the more that I learned about it all, the more I started to realize that I think I'm a witch. And a lot of what they were describing and talking about, the activities that certain witches do and the rituals that they engage in, even the act of doing ritual, the lifestyle that they live, is very aligned with how I live my life and very connected to just naturally who I am as a person. And my hesitation around owning that and naming that and claiming that is the problem. It revealed something to me. It revealed to me the stigma around that word, witch, and it revealed to me the lack of knowledge around that word and that topic. And again, I don't think that labels and names and identities are important. I think a lot of times they can be harmful instead of helpful. And at the same time, choosing intentionally how you label yourself or what identity you do want to identify as can serve a great purpose in helping you understand yourself and helping you feel a sense of connection and community, and can also help as you are learning more about this identity. And that's been the case for me, claiming that I am a witch and letting that be a label, an identity that I connect to. It's not my whole identity by any means, and it's not something that I feel the need to frame who I am as a person, but it is something that I feel like is a part of who I am. And I honestly believe that all herbalists are witches. Human design is witchcraft. I mean, cooking can be magic. It's really about how you define these terms and what they mean to you and what your intention is when you are using them. And we go into a lot of this in this week's podcast episode, which I am so excited to share. It's with a really special guest and a renowned witch. And her name is Casey Zabala. And among many things, she is the founder of the Witches Confluence. We talk about what it means to be a witch. We talk about what that means to her, how she defines all the terms, and how that impacts her life. And that conversation helped me gain more clarity on what it means to me. Honestly, I think one of the biggest pieces for me in being a witch and what it means to me, what being a witch means to me, is living intentionally and letting every act I do in my life be an intentional devotion to creating magic. And by magic, I mean creating the world I want to live in, creating the life I want to live, working with the energy around me, choosing to shift my perspective of the world, and realizing that so much of life is magic. We've just normalized it or disassociated from it, disconnected from it. I can choose to see the magic in every day, and I can choose also to trust my magic. So much of what I do is intuition work, helping people connect to their intuition, strengthen their intuition, trust their intuition. That is magic. Trusting your intuition, living in alignment with your intuition, living guided by your intuition. That is full force trusting your magic, deciding that you believe in magic. And you can take this as deep and as far down the rabbit hole as feels in alignment for you. I have started to go deeper and deeper, and it's only felt more supportive and life affirming and interesting for me. At the very foundation, deciding to believe in magic is deciding to see the beauty in life. And the more that you decide to see it, the more that it will come up for you. One example I'm feeling called to share is when it comes to my moves, I really trust my intuition. I go fully off my intuition when it comes to where I'm moving, when I'm moving, and the house I'm moving to. And my most recent move to upstate New York was no exception. And I had a moment, it's been a couple months ago now, where I was outside in my backyard. It was a really beautiful sunny day, and the wind was whipping all around me, and I was just basking in the sun. My eyes were closed. I put a hand to my heart, and I just had these chills and the sensation of I am meant to be here. I am meant to be here. And I feel like there's some fairy energy that has been guiding me, and it's brought me here on purpose. And I feel very connected to fairies, and that's not something that I can fully explain. I've seen them in meditations. I've felt their presence. Again, choosing to believe in magic is choosing to trust your knowings and your feelings and the energy. So I had that experience, and it was a very felt profound experience. And then just a couple weeks ago, I found a new trail in my neighborhood, which is always exciting because a lot of times when I'm walking through my neighborhood, we're just walking down different streets, and that's fine and that's fun. But to find a forest path in my neighborhood that we can walk to from my house is really exciting. And what do I find in that woods on that trail is a whole fairy cabin full of fairy houses. I'll insert a little clip here. But I had full body chills the whole time I was walking in that forest, and I honestly got a little bit emotional because, of course, you know, I know people made those beautiful fairy houses and put them there and put it all together, but again, it felt like a sign to me. It felt really powerful to me, and it felt like a synchronicity and an affirmation of my path. For me, leaning into being a witch, leaning into my magic and believing in magic and my intuition is not a religion for me by any means, but it's my spirituality. It's my connection to the universe as a whole and to this greater meaning and point of being alive. And one reason why there is so much stigma and mystery around being a witch is because of the history around it. Witchcraft used to be seen as something horrible and punishable by death. And it was a way that people cut down women, took away their power, and ostracized them, isolated them. It's a reminder that we, all of us, everyone, but especially us females, we have these strong intuitions. We have these magic powers within us. And this world is still structured for us not to tap into that, to not believe in that, to not trust that and love that and strengthen that. And so for some people, the idea of witches or witchcraft or magic being a thing is laughable and something that is just in fairy tales. And for other people, there's a lot of fear or uncertainty or projections and judgments and associations, negative associations with that word. And that is still because of where we've come from, our history, and what society has deemed that to mean. And so part of me naming and claiming the identity of a witch is saying, to heck with that. I choose my power. I choose to live differently. I choose to trust myself. I choose to accept myself and love myself. And not everyone has to understand that or understand what that means. For a long time, I really loved the mantra, I am magic, and saying it to other people, you are magic. And that's still such a big thing for me. I mean, I got it tattooed on my arm. My tattoo says, you are magic, and it's on the back of my arm because I want people to read it and be reminded that they are magic. And one thing I've been processing and acknowledging recently is not only are we magic, but we have magic. That difference and claiming both has been a shift for me and has been that claiming of being a witch for me, because not only am I magic, not only am I powerful and special and all these kinds of things, but I have magic. I have magic to share. And you have magic, and you have magic to share. And that can be whatever you want it to be. That can look any way you want. That can mean anything you want. I think everyone has their own unique magic, and it's not just one category. Magic doesn't just mean that you are an herbalist or into astrology or anything that is categorically, typically spiritual. Your magic can be in how quick you can do a math problem. Your magic can be how easy it is for you to put cars together. Your magic can be how passionate you are about music. We all have different unique gifts, and human design lays that out so perfectly and shows us that we are meant to be who we are, and that is our magic. Those gifts are our magic. And so understanding them and owning them and leaning into them is what will align us on our perfect path. And that is magic. And choosing to do that and choosing to do that intentionally, for me, there's magic in that. And I think witchcraft takes it a bit further in using that energy to guide your life and tapping into this power within you, this energy within you, and devoting your life to that and engaging in rituals and practices that cultivate that and strengthen that. And there are days where that power is more powerfully around us and where it's easier to tap into that. And Halloween, Samhain is one of those days. So this could be a really powerful day for you to get curious about that and tap into that. I highly recommend doing the ritual for Samhain. You can do it with me through YouTube. You can listen to it on the podcast or read it on Substack. But engaging that ritual will help you connect to your magic, will help you connect to a deeper understanding of what your magic is and who you are and what your magic means to you, and finding your own definition of magic. I honestly think one of the biggest parts about being a witch is caring less what people think and just owning who you are with confidence. And that is a big part of my path, and that is something I'm so passionate about and preach to everyone. And so if there's one quality that you embrace and own from the identity of witch, it is this unapologetic acceptance of and confidence in who you are. I think society has gotten better at recognizing mental health as a core pillar to truly healthy, well life. But I think the next step is ingraining that even more, and definitely more work we need to do on that aspect, but bringing in the spiritual health pillar, because I think our connection to our spirituality, our religion, whatever you want to call it, whatever that is for you, is a core part of being truly healthy and being fully alive. Embracing that I am a witch and that I have magic that I am proud of and want to learn more about and embrace has allowed me to strengthen this spiritual pillar of my life, which was already a really core piece of who I am and core piece of my life. But this has allowed it to go even that step further. It has allowed me to release this tight grip on control and certainty that is a core theme in my life. And again, lean into trust and surrender, but not in a spiritual bypassing, airy, floaty way, in a really grounded and trusting way, in a really core, foundational, solid way, in a way that feels supportive for me. Because magic is grounded and grounding and requires trust and surrender. It's both. You can't fully tap into your magic in a healthy way if it's not both. One thing I will add, if none of this is really hitting for you, is that Samhain is a really beautiful time to connect with the past, with those who have passed, whether that is any spirits that you connect to, whether that is ancestors, whether that's a past version of yourself. Having some sort of ritual around connecting to these past energies can be deeply healing, and this could be a way that you embrace the magic of Samhain. The biggest thing with all of this, though, is that you have to be open. You have to be willing to think about things differently, to see things differently, to change your mind, or to not understand at first. You have to be open. If you come in closed-minded, the magic can't reach you. Anyway, I could clearly talk about this for a long time, but I'll leave this here for now. If you're looking for a ritual to engage with, I highly recommend last week's podcast and YouTube video. If you're looking for a deeper conversation around this, I recommend this week's podcast and also everything I've written on Substack the last few weeks. And maybe just take a moment this Halloween to see if you feel anything. See if you feel anything different around you. Step outside, put your feet on the grass, place a hand on your heart, look at the moon, and stay open to whatever you may feel. All right. Happy Halloween, everyone. Happy Samhain. I hope you stay open to the magic. And I'll see you next time for more magic. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Intuitively Wild, the podcast. I hope it helped deepen your connection to yourself, sparked some insights, and inspired you to live intuitively wild. If you enjoyed this podcast, it would mean so much to me if you would share it with others and leave a rating and review. And please reach out to me. I would love to connect with you. I will see you next time for more magic.